Clarksville, Georgia, the team hero, EBR 1190 RS. What a great weekend he's having thus far. Now it's race time for number 99, Jeff May. Number 11, Chris Fillmore, will start in the fourth starting spot. He's 7th in series points out of Oxford, Michigan, on the KTM HMC Racing RC8R KTM Twin. Our front row looks like this. It's all a championship battle up front. The man third in series points will start third on the starting grid with 2 wins to his credit in 2013 from Medellin, Colombia, the Yoshimura Suzuki Factory Racing GSXR 1000 of number 36, Martin Cardenas. Starting in the 2 spot, our point leader with 4 victories to his credit from Dublin, Georgia, it's Josh Herron. Finally, to the top of the order, number 1, Josh Hayes with 7 wins and 2nd in series points for 2013.
Looks like Jeff May's up against the wall down there. Looks like he's got a bit of a problem on that ABR. Crew's working on the bike, trying to get him sorted out so he can get this thing started.
He was limping pretty good when he got walked away from the motorcycle after the machine went down here as he was doing a practice start. The track is clear. They're telling us they're beginning their warm-up lap now, so hopefully Jeff May will be able to answer the call. What's your expectations here, Scott Russell? How do you see it playing out?
I expect the number 1 to try to get a clean start, something he's had a problem with lately, and get out front and control this race and do all he can. And then behind him, I'm really not sure what to expect, to be honest with you. I think Josh is going to Josh Herron's just kind of going to play it in his own self back there. I don't think he's going to get any battles with anybody. Depends on how he feels and how the bike feels to him. You know, practice and qualifying, it's all different. Sometimes when that green light comes on, things can change. So it'll be interesting to see how his race goes. And obviously Martin, he's going to want to try to win this thing to beat Hayes heads up.
Martin has been pretty much in the thick of this battle all season long. It seems to me he's gathering a little bit of momentum here late in the season. Maybe this will be his day. That may be a transponder. Is that what I'm seeing hanging off the back of the machine on number 99?
Definitely something hanging there. I think his issue this morning had a practice start and lifted the front wheel off the ground. The brakes kind of stayed on and locked the front wheel, and he went down. So, like you said, he's going to be riding a little banged up, and he's got stuff dangling off the bike. They may need to sort that out too. So we'll see how that plays out for Jeff May.
How hard is it to put something like that behind you, Scott? He's been so strong here all weekend long.
I think he'll be fine. He's a racer. You know, you gotta get over things that happen to you in this sport. Just like somebody crashing in front of you, you can't dwell on that. So you got to move forward, and everything's happened behind you. You try to do your best to put that behind you and focus on the task at hand, and that's racing.
Thank you to the many camera operators. Thank you to Dorna and Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for providing a great feed for us here for our final race of 2013. National Guard Superbike with a championship on the line. It could not be more exciting for all of us, and I'm certain all 3 of these riders on this front row starting grid. We get one more real good look at our front row as we await the arrival of number 99, Jeff May. He's pulling, I think, a pretty frustrated rider, but he does make it to the starting grid. Coming, and they're going to give him, nope, he's done. He's got a problem.
Oh, man.
A tough break for number 99. He is off the racetrack. And I know he's frustrated, Scott. He's had such a good weekend.
He's running over here trying to find a spare bike. He's leaned that one against the wall.
And National Guard Superbike is underway, and it'll go off without Jeff May. Josh Hayes with a really good start. But all 3 of our front row get a great start. They're still side by side going into turn number 1. Hayes begins to separate himself just a little, but when they went over the hill, out of our sight, they were 3 wide.
They were 3 wide. It looked like Martin had the inside line. I thought he might lead it in there, but Hayes left the brake on that a little bit longer, and he was able to take over the spot. But now Martin falls into 2nd, and Josh Herron in 3rd. This is a great opportunity for Chris Fillmore. He's off in 4th.
I was just getting ready to point that out. The beautiful KTM back there in the 4th spot. He's been strong all weekend. Jeff May's kind of had the measure of him a little bit. May's out of the picture now. It is an opportunity. They're in a points battle as well. The number 11, Chris Fillmore, running in the 4th spot with a real good shot at a podium here this weekend. There's our point leader, number 2, Josh Herron, in the 3 spot.
Larry Pegram got a good start. He's off in 5th, clean running right there. So he's got an opportunity right here to try to end his season on a better note than the way it's been going. And already these top 3 are gapping the rest of the field. And Martin, he looks racy as they come down through Rainy Corner.
He is definitely hooked up here. He's right with our race leader right now, unwilling to let him get away one little bit as Josh Hayes will lead. 36 of Cardenas. In the 3 spot is Heron. They'll head into turn 11 for the first time. Back here to the front stretch, and here they come.
Martin made a lot of ground up on the brakes right there. He ran it in there deep into the last corner. They go over the top of the hill right here, 170 miles an hour. They go to the hard on the brakes down into turn 2. Martin looks down the inside. There's nothing there, Hayes, and he is right there.
In the shutoff contest, Josh Hayes will be declared the winner, but Martin Cardenas is definitely there, already being aggressive early on, but he's like that. He comes out of the box, and Martin Cardenas tucks the front, and Scott Russell, he's down off the racetrack.
I know the feeling. That's the same thing happened to me in 1998 on the second lap. That right-hand corner, turn 3, has caused so many people havoc over the years, and, you know, there's not a lot of right-hand corners on this racetrack, so maybe that had something to do with it. Martin was definitely riding aggressively, looking like he wanted to beat Josh Hayes today, and that's not going to happen.
He walked away from the motorcycle with his head down, maybe wanting to crawl into a hole somewhere because he knows his season has just come to a grinding halt here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca prematurely.
Well, I hope I didn't jinx him. I was saying how he stayed on the bike all year long, and now he finds himself walking through the gravel trap.
I don't think Scott Russell had anything to do with that. That's just a treacherous part of this racetrack, as you've pointed out all day long, and it bit him right there.
Well, the way things are shaking out right now, as you take a look at Chris Clark there real quick, this is perfect for Josh Heron. He's in a lonely second place. Looks like Fillmore's got that carrot dangling in front of him. I don't think he can reel in that Yamaha. I think if Heron just stays cool, he's got no pressure from behind really, and no, he doesn't have to beat his teammates. So this is the perfect situation for him right now. He can just go out and treat this as now a 21-lap practice session at this point, because that's what we have left, 21 to go.
You got to believe that. Josh Heron will be very happy to just ride along there in the 2 spot, keep its shiny side up and the rubber side down, cross the stripe in second, win himself a championship. Now, number 11, Chris Fillmore, moves up to 3rd. Now that Cardenas is out of the picture, Pegram running into 4th spot, and Larry Pegram's been having a good weekend on his R1 Yamaha. See if he can close some of that gap down on Chris Fillmore, because he's been pretty racy this weekend, all weekend long.
And there we see him right here. They're going to go ahead and turn 6 right here and make that left as they drive it up the hill. That's one of the trickiest corners, I think, on the racetrack. It's a blind entrance, and it's got a big dished out section right at the apex. So getting that corner right is so important to get that good drive up the hill to the corkscrew.
Josh Hayes doing what he must do. He wants to run up front. He captured pole. He wants to lead all the laps, win the race, score maximum points, and then basically the fate is in someone else's hands after that. He's controlling his own destiny somewhat.
He pretty much is laying the hammer down already. He's about a second a lap faster than anybody on the racetrack, and you can see the gap growing quickly. Another 124.5 to Josh Heron's 125.3, so there it is. 0.8 of a second quicker than the second place man. Hayes is just going to get out there, get a little cushion, and then he's going to have to think, man, I've had some issues when I've been out front. I've fallen down a couple times. Today's really not the day I can do that. I just kind of need to stay on this motorcycle. He's got no heat from behind from his teammate, really.
It's good that he's not being pressured, but still somewhere in the back of his mind, you know it has to be there, right? Just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, he knows. He's going to see the pit board. He's going to know his teammate's right behind him. There's nothing more he can do at that point. It's just ride a clean race and be the Josh Hayes that we're so used to seeing. And that's poling and winning most laps and win the race.
There's a real good battle brewing back there for the 5th spot with Chris Clark, Aussie Dave Anthony, Aaron Yates in that one.
Well, Chris Clark's really woken up this weekend. We hadn't seen much of him all year long in that Yoshi Suzuki. But today looks like it's going to be, so far, a good day. He's definitely got some heat from behind in Anthony and Yates, Knapp as well, and Corey West on that other EBR. They're all lined up behind Chris Clark as they come off the corkscrew. As
this race develops, that may turn out to be the best race on the racetrack. Certainly right now it is, as Chris Clark, number 6 on the Suzuki, will lead the Suzuki of Aussie Dave Anthony. And Aussie Dave Anthony's had a real good weekend as well in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, he's had a good year, I think. I'd like to think. He might probably think this might be his best year in Superbike, and you got to congratulate those guys for trying to come out here and race against these factory teams and doing a good job. And over the hill they go one more time.
You get a sense that Aaron Yates, number 20, is wanting to make a move. He's been showing a little bit of patience here, Scott, but he's pressuring Dave Anthony right now.
He definitely is, and they're definitely going to have a race going back there for that spot. And you see right now Larry Pegram, he's trying to close that gap on Chris Fillmore, and that time by, he was a bit quicker than Chris Fillmore by about 0.3 of a second. So that gap's closing. Larry's looking to put that Yamaha on the box with the other two Yamahas out front.
Meanwhile, up front, it's three-time and defending National Guard Superbike champion Josh Hayes having it his way. Exactly what he'd hoped to do is what's taking place. He might like to see things develop a little bit differently behind him. I'm sure his leaderboard has informed him that the 2-bike is the one that is in the second spot, though it's a 3.2 gap at the moment.
Well, I think, with Eslick and Roger Hayden missing in this race right now, it just kind of made things a lot easier for Josh Herron. Rather, he would have been in a race with those guys. It could have been possible, but I think he's smart enough to know that he didn't need to race with really anybody today. But with those guys out, it's sure opened up the racetrack for him to just kind of do his own thing, and he's going to be counting these laps. This is probably going to be the longest race of his life today, but he'll be counting those laps away and looking forward to that first Superbike championship.
And you add into that Martin Cardenas going out of the race early. That, too, will take a lot of the pressure off of Josh Herron. As you're right, Larry Pegram is beginning to close now. He's just 0.4 behind Fillmore when they cross the stripe and closing every lap.
The KTM guys have obviously done a great job for Chris Fillmore to give him something that he can run as well as he's running right now, looking for a podium now on that KTM. It's going to be tough because Pegram's coming in a big way right now as they make their way down into turn 5 hard on the brakes, and Larry's closing that gap every lap.
You got a feel for Jeff May, number 99. He's on the sidelines watching this one after having one of his best weekends of the year, really.
And this, like I said, is a good track for twins, and they were proving that all weekend leading up. And he is really upset on that warm-up lap, and he'll have to wait till next year to have another go.
That could make your off-season really, really long, can't it? Or can you just put it behind you, start working out, and go forth?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to think about it for a minute, but that was totally out of his control. What had happened to him this morning, and obviously what had happened to him leading into this race. So, as a rider, hey, that's the way it is. You shrug it off and you move on. But that gap's really closed now. Pegram's within 5, 6, 7 bike lengths now of Fillmore.
Fans here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, being treated to the beautiful sounds of that KTM RC8R. And Chris Fillmore riding it brilliantly here today, as he has been all weekend long in practice Q1 and Q2. And now here he is in the race with a real legitimate shot at a podium, running in the 3 spot with a very experienced veteran closing on him with each and every corner.
Yeah, Larry's been around for a long, long time and doesn't want to give it up, still feels he's competitive. And he got on this Yamaha this year, and it really hadn't gone as well as he hoped, but this is looking real promising for a possible podium spot to end the season for that foremost Yamaha team.
For both of these teams who want and need a victory podium here in the final race of 2013, the development work has been fast-paced on the KTM, and right now Chris Fillmore enjoying that. He and Larry Pegram running nearly identical lap times here, lap after lap.
Well, I can guarantee you Fillmore's not going to give it up easy. It's going to be interesting to see how things plays out. The fuel starts to burn off. The tires start to wear a little bit. These Superbikes do work these Dunlops pretty hard. And so it's going to be interesting to see how whose bike works better at the end of the race between these two guys. Does Larry just have the outright speed to get by him? Right now, they look matched perfectly.
Coming out of turn 11 is this torrid battle for that 5th spot right now as Aaron Yates gets racy. He took a look down the inside, Scott. He was along beside of Chris Clark.
I was impressed with that EBR as they come off that last corner. He was side by side with the Yosh bike all the way to the start-finish line, and then Chris got a little bit of a nose, but it looks like coming out of 2 down there, Aaron has made that move, and he's made it stick.
Aaron did cross the stripe just an inch or 2 in front of Chris Clark. Chris Clark was able to overtake him again, and apparently Yates has done it again.
He's got it done now, so as they head off down to turn 5, hard braking zone.
And already out to a 4 or 5 bike length advantage at this point in the race as we refocus on the battle between Fillmore and Pegram is there.
He's right there as they make their way up the hill. We'll see how the Yamaha runs against the KTM. He's got a little bit more top speed, but this really isn't a top speed racetrack. So Chris was able to close the inside line right there, ran a tight entrance, both of them ran wide as they come off the corkscrew, but stayed on the racetrack. Chris knows he's there, so he's going to start running those tight lines on the inside to try to keep Pegram off his back.
I would say maybe that both of these motorcycles will get a good drive from down deep in the corner. The KTM's known for that. That twin has good torque, good power delivery, as does the cross-plane crankshaft R1.
No doubt. We've got that drag race coming on the front straightaway right now, and Fillmore's still able to maintain like a 5-bike link lead over them as they go over the top of the hill right here. And Pegram will close it down a little bit as they get to the break. Josh Herron right here all by himself out there coming out of turn 2, wheeling that Yamaha into turn 3. Saw Martin fall down right there. That's in the back of his mind, so just trying to stay on this motorcycle is the main thing for him today.
This is a good battle. This is Aaron Yates, Taylor Knapp, Chris Clark, and Dave Anthony, and I believe West is in that battle as well. Corey West, number 13, and is fully on. Aaron Yates has worked himself up to the front of that battle and begins. Aaron Yates and Pegram or Taylor Knapp begin to pull away just a little bit. Putting a little bit of gap on Dave Anthony.
There was the move right there by Anthony down into turn 5. He took over that spot from the 6, and now Corey West is looking to do the same thing. He has a fall back in lines. They drop into turn 6 right now, heading up the hill to the corkscrew. Chris
Clark carrying the colors for the Yoshimura Suzuki Factory Racing team now that his teammate has crashed out of this race.
And there it is. That was a nice move by Corey West. Outbroke Chris Clark as they went into the corkscrew. We've seen a lot of action right there. Chris trying to fight back down the inside.
And he's
off. He's off. He got his nose pinched off, and that's it for him.
Able to get the machine shut down and dropped it just prior to going into the tire barrier. And that's a tough break. He was riding brilliantly there. That was a tough two-man race.
Well, here we have another look at it right here. There's a lot of different lines you can run down and run. You can run that inside line, but, man, if you're going to do it, you got to do it. You can't do it halfway. And if you do, you get your nose cut off, and that's exactly what happened to Chris. Ran out of real estate and had to put it in the ground. And there's another look. 100 miles an hour through the gravel. That's not real fun.
But he had only two choices: clip the rear tire and have a nasty high side, or take your chances on getting it woed down before getting into the tire barrier. Between the two choices, he made the best one.
He definitely did. My boys up on the hill got a good look at that right in front of him.
Fairly devastating for the Yoshimura Suzuki Factory team after a really good season all season long. Both of their riders out of it here.
Yeah, they're going to have to regroup. They've done a good job with Martin. Chris never really found his way on that Yosh Suzuki. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back with that team next year. There could be some changes there, but I'm sure Martin's safe in his seat. And unfortunately, that turn 3 has caught so many riders out over the years here. It got him as well. But now this battle still rages on right here between Chris Fillmore and Larry Pegram, and for Larry, he's just kind of pacing with him right now. There's still so much. There's 13 laps to go, 12 when they come by this time. He's made that move now, so here it is.
Sweet little inside pass, rode by him clean, but Fillmore is still there. He's not gapped Fillmore after making the pass.
No, Chris is going to fight tooth and nail, because this is his chance to get on the podium with that KTM. And if he could do that here at Laguna Seca, wow, what a shot in the arm. There you see the team. Uli down there is crew chief, and they've got to be fired out with a real shot.
With 13 laps remaining, Scott Russell, let's take a moment and run down through your top 10. It's Josh Hayes at the head of the order with Josh Herron in the 2 spot. Larry Pegram shown in 3rd. Chris Fillmore 4th. Aaron Yates 5th. Taylor Knapp 6th. Dave Anthony 7th. Corey West in the 8th spot, and Gibson, number 17, 9th. Pinkstaff running in the 10th spot at this point.
Like Chris Aldrich's days over, he's inside his name. I'm not sure what happened down there with the Honda, but unfortunately for him, he's out. They'll have to wait to give it another go next year.
For Josh Hayes, he's up front again doing what he has to do, turning in good, consistent, clean laps. He's still turning this place in a 125, short 125s.
Yeah, he's just doing what he needs to do. He's just clicking off laps. Here comes possibly the new Superbike champ on the front straightaway, just grabbing gears, looking at that pit board, counting these laps down right now. He's thinking, man, I want to get this thing over with so I can cash this big check they're about to write for me.
Well, when he gets back to the stripe, it'll be the halfway point, and he's coming to the halfway point with a 9.1 advantage on his teammate. Aussie Dave Anthony running in the 7th spot. Here's Corey West making his move down the inside.
Perfectly done. He just pacing over the top of the hill when he went to the brakes. He just left it a little bit later than Dave and down the inside down into turn 2, and with anything Dave Anthony could do about it. Now he'll be able to get a good look at the 13 and see if there's anywhere he can maybe fight back.
Perhaps Corey West now will turn his attention to that bright orange KTM in front of him, thinking a top 5 maybe, because Taylor Knapp is your 6th place rider.
Well, KTM's got to be happy. You know, they've run in a good, strong run here. We're missing a couple guys, a couple of normals in the series, but it doesn't matter right now. It still looks good out here on track for those guys. And Fillmore, they're back up to the battle in the corkscrew. He's reeled right back up on the wheel of Pegram. He's going to keep fighting, and there's going to be places around the racetrack. He's quicker than Larry. Larry might be quicker a little bit here and there, but right now they've looked paced pretty well. They evenly matched. So this race is far from over, I think.
And that's an important battle. That is 3rd spot on the podium, and both of those riders and both of those teams would like to have a podium to finish off their 2013 National Guard Superbike year. There is no question about it. Number 11, Chris Fillmore's riding well. Just stalking number 72, Larry Pegram on the Foremost Insurance Group Yamaha. Larry looks really smooth, doesn't he, coming through the S's?
He does. He's got quite a different riding style. He sits more upright on the motorcycle, but yeah, he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
He does. So Chris Fillmore riding along behind him. Is he thinking about it, Scott? Looking at maybe where he's a little stronger than Pegram?
Well, he knows that Pegram had the pace on him because he ran him down and was able to get by him. So now he's just kind of hanging on to it. And looking at their pace, they're running high 26s. So I'd like to think that Chris could maintain this pace throughout the race and just see if if Larry makes a mistake, or maybe he's just outright and going to set him up. And you just don't know how these races play out. With 10 to go when they come by this lap, there's still quite a bit of time left for him to make a move somewhere.
You got a feeling that Fillmore's got a move left in him because he is able to remain totally in contact with Larry Pegram.
I think these two guys, out of everybody on the racetrack, are probably more fired up than anybody. I mean, was Fillmore an opportunity to put that KTM on the podium? Pegram doing the same thing, thinking the same way after the season he's had. He's going to want to really fight as hard as he can to keep Fillmore behind him. I think the number 3 spot on the podium is the one sought after the most today.
No doubt right now it is a serious contest for who's going to stand on the shortest box on the victory podium here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. It's not a matter of which one of them wants it the most, I don't think. They both want it. Now it comes down to talent, skill sets, who's got what in the motorcycle.
Well, here comes Hayes, already starting to reel in lap traffic. Looks like Johnny Rock Page moves out of the way. Hayes takes that right around him on the outside, going into corkscrew. Good thing there's not much traffic out here getting in his way. He's just doing his own thing. He's just racing the racetrack right now. And he's so good at doing that. We've seen it all year long. When he gets out front, it's rare that he makes mistakes, and he just clicks in laps, and you can't even see Heron. There's Heron finally coming into view for us off the hill through Rainy Corner. Josh Hayes is in his own zip code right now.
And you know, Scott, over the last couple of seasons, I think we've seen Josh Hayes mature as a spokesperson as well. He presents himself so well. He talks to the fans so well. The guy's just the whole package, really.
He's a Southern boy, man. He's got that Southern thing still in him. So he's a great guy and a great champion, and just has been a great spokesman and guy to have Yamaha on their bikes, you know, all these years and winning these championships. It's you love to have a guy like that in your team that does do the right thing with the fans and is just an all-around good guy.
Sometimes it's a little bit of a double-edged sword when you're Josh Heron. We've seen that before when you're fortunate or unfortunate, depending on your perspective, to have a teammate or someone else in the series who's so dominant as Josh Hayes has been. But there's also benefits to that, right? Being the number 2 man.
Yeah, there is. I mean, obviously you get the information that he's sharing with his crew chief, and So that's all gone over and overlaid their computers and stuff like that. So it's a helpful thing to have, and being there with the best rider, but it's a big carrot thing too. For me, it'd be, that's right where I'd want to be. I want to be on the same bike, the best guy out there, and then I know at the end of the day who's the best at the end of the race. And obviously today that's going to be Josh Hayes if things keep going well. But the war is what you want to win, and that's what Herron's after right now.
It's going to be some source of pride for Josh Herron if he can be the man who can displace Josh Hayes as this series champion after 3 convincing championships by Josh Hayes. You got to know Josh Herron would love to put his name in the AMA Pro Racing record book as the 2013 Superbike champion. Great battle continuing to rage on with third place Larry Pegram, number 72, holding off Chris Fillmore, number 11, and Fillmore's been racy all race long, but right now I don't think he's content to ride behind Pegram anymore. Corey West beginning to gain on Aaron Yates as well, so that battle could become a good race here in a few laps from now, with 8 laps showing remaining on our Cortec leaderboard.
We got four twin-cylinder motorcycles running in the 4th to the 7th spot right there, all together, not on track, but they're right there in line in order. We're looking at the first man on the twin, the 11, coming up the hill to turn 6 right now. Over the crest they go. They'll find that inside apex right there, get that throttle on early as they can, try to get the best run up the hill. Larry's got a great run. He's kept maintaining this gap over Fillmore right now, or is Fillmore just happy to sit there? We're going to find out as this plays out.
It's funny, last time through this section, Fillmore was all over him trying to find a spot to get around him, but you called it up the hill. It seemed that Pegram got a really good drive and was able to put a few bike links on Chris Fillmore.
This is the section of racetrack that Fillmore's got to start focusing on. How am I going to get to the corkscrew down to this last corner and be as strong as I can? Because I think if he's going to make a move, he's going to want to wait and leave it at that part of the lap. If you go too early, then that gives Larry an opportunity to strike back. But nobody's going to strike on this man right here, number 1. He's the only one that can lose this race for himself. Josh Hayes out by front by a country mile, just doing his thing.
Josh Hayes, could it be a little bit frustrating knowing you're doing all that you could do, but you're on your way to losing a championship if things remain the same?
Oh, yeah, he's not happy inside that helmet, I can guarantee you, about that whole situation. But, you know, you win some, you lose some, and you got 3 in a row, you're going for 4. You know, we can look back at all the things that had happened over him this year, whether it be the jump starts, the problems he had at Daytona. I mean, you can't put your finger on just one reason why he won't win this championship. It was an accumulation of issues that he's had all year long, and that's how it is sometimes. I mean, he's been so perfect for so long now that he had to know that this was going to happen eventually. But he still maintained that true champion mentality. He's out there doing exactly what he needs to do, and then just let the cards fall where they may behind him.
Coming out of Daytona race 1 and race 2, 19th in points, 48 points down, and winning the next 5 races in a row. That's what you're talking about, right? That championship heart.
That's right. I mean, he knew that it was. I thought this is great for the championship when that happened. We don't want to wish bad luck on anybody, but to take the champ and set him back 2 races pretty much right off the start, it really was a great thing for our championship. And to watch him march his way back up to the front as quick as he did and take over the points lead was pretty astonishing. So for him, he's got to be happy about the way he rode in that respect, but he'll be kicking himself for those jump starts, that tip over at Miller, and you know, this will be one of those seasons he'll look back and wish he had another go at it.
No question about it. However, we are watching one of the best in a while in our sport in Superbike. Dominant season last year. I think 16 wins to his credit. Number 1, Josh Hayes on the Monster Energy Graves Yamaha, enjoying a good ride here this afternoon at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. I guess it's still morning.
He's just on a Sunday cruise out there right now. He's just not even working hard. He's running lap times at the 600s run, almost 126s. I mean, well, there's a couple guys that did that on 600s, which is very impressive, but but he's just kind of notched it back. He's no pressure, just clicking away, man.
None at all as he crosses the stripe. Good little wait until his teammate crosses the stripe. 11.529, the current gap for the three-time and defending champ.
But that battle for third still rages on between Pegram and Fillmore. They're running identical lap times right now, and you can see that gap has not really changed at all over the last 5 or 6 laps since Larry's taken that spot away.
And you got to love Larry Pegram. You can look and you can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his face. He is such a determined individual.
Well, watching him on the grid down there, he had his eyes closed. You could tell he was deep in thought and concentrating on how to put a perfect race together and bring this thing home and end this season on a good note. And he's done everything he can do so far. Right now, he's got one more thing to do, and that's keep Fillmore behind him.
Superbike family been renewed. They've got another a season of that coming up, which is very cool. Always fun. It's kind of been a great thing for all to get to know the Pegram family a little bit better through that TV series.
Pretty girls.
There's Hayes coming up on Gibson right there. He looked down the inside. He's a lap rider. He thought there's no reason for me to make that move. I'll just wait. I'll motor by him right here at start finish just like he did. And now there's really nobody left out in front of Hayes. I don't even know if he'll see another rider before the end of the race with just 4 laps to go. He's got nothing but clear racetrack. That's exactly what he wanted. The 2's got those 3 riders to negotiate by, and then he'll have a clear racetrack. And then that battle for third again as they come on the front straightaway. The gap remains the same between Pegram and Fillmore. Over the hill they go, 170 miles an hour, going down into turn 2.
Still, there's 4 laps remaining in this one. For Josh Herron, he cannot make a mistake now. He knows that he's got to be clean coming around these lap riders. He can't make any kind of mistakes here.
You know, he's just praying that this Yamaha stays together. We don't have any mechanical issues right here with just 3.5 laps to go. And that smile inside that helmet's going to start growing bigger and bigger with these last 3 or 4 laps to go. Thinking, man, what a long road it's been to become a champ and to become the Superbike champ, to be your first professional title. That's very impressive.
Be a happy young man if that is exactly what comes to pass. Fans, recall now we have FIM World Superbike race number 2 yet to happen here this afternoon at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Don't go away. As we watch Aaron Yates, number 20, still battling here on the racetrack.
You can see Fillmore right there. He gets so close in the corkscrew, and he knows that if he's going to make any money on this deal, he's got to be done off the top of that hill between there and the last corner. There's really nowhere else he looks strong enough to make that move. Maybe he's just been sitting there. Maybe there is more in his back pocket. We'll wait and see.
It would be a lot easier for him to sneak up on Larry Pegram than it would to battle with him lap after lap.
I think he snuck up on him. He's right there as they go to the top. And he has been good down into 2, but he decides, I'm just going to continue to follow Larry, put the heat on him.
Ran a little higher line on the corner entrance.
Trying to push the worm into making a mistake.
He's beginning to turn the heat up now as Chris Fillmore with 3 to go, Scott. He's ready.
He definitely is right now, and the pace again when they came by last time was about the same lap time. Fillmore was about 0.2 of a second quicker. So he's queuing up to maybe make a move here soon, but he knows he doesn't really want to make that move too quick because you may get one shot at this deal, and you don't want to pull the trigger too soon.
Because he doesn't want to give Pegram an opportunity to retake the spot.
Exactly.
This has been a race-long battle that we've been watching. Once they separated themselves from the other 3 or 4 riders that were in that great battle within the race. And right now, number 72, Larry Pegram, calling on his many years of experience. Probably got more laps on a Superbike than anybody in the field, I'm guessing.
I would think so, yeah. And that time through the corkscrew, you can see he took a tight entrance, which kind of killed his exit right now. So he's playing defense right now. He's closing the door on the entrance of the corners. He's going to make Fillmore go the long way around him if he has to, wherever that's going to be. So let's see how they come over the top of the hill if there's any kind of challenge down in the 2.
Well, you could just bet there's a good chance he watched that GoPro Daytona Sportbike race, heard your call, and saw Bobier do that 2 or 3 times. He said, I'm closing that door.
I mean, if you could pull that off, because the drive out of the corkscrew, you get so much help because it's like dropping off a 3-story building So you don't have to be in the exact right gear, maybe on the right line every time. You still get, the bike will still accelerate off the hill, so you can afford to close the inside off sometimes.
Fillmore had a little bit of head shake that time, it looked to me.
Yeah, he's pushing hard right now. There's a fast kink and that little bit of a straightaway right there, and just that input into the handlebars made that KTM do a little bit of a head shake. Not a problem for him. I think this is going to be white, Barry, when we come by this time.
Yes,
So
I
let's
think so
take
too.
a look at that.
I believe I actually physically see the white flag in the air, Scott Russell. Why did I invite you? I've kind of forgot now, you know.
You opened the door, didn't you?
I did. White flag is in the air for National Guard Superbike, and for Josh Hayes, he is doing all that he can do. One more good, clean lap here. He will have set on pole.
Oh, there's the move for Fillmore down into the last corner.
Yep, and
he makes the move.
Again, a little bit of head shake, but he went to the inside, and he committed, like you talked earlier, that you have to do. Pegram fights back on the inside as they cross the stripe, head over the hill into turn number 1.
Well, maybe he can sucker him down on the inside. If Larry runs a little bit wide, there it is. The inside door opens up.
What a heads-up move by Fillmore. He was ready for that.
He knew what was going to happen. That's a double apex. If you go in there too hard, you do push wide, and it opened the door for the 11. He made the move again.
Did you see how wide he was? I'm talking Fillmore on the entrance.
Yes. Yeah, the over-under pass. He knew exactly what he was doing.
So the question is, can Larry Pegram do it? Can he retake? He's going to make the move on the inside. Can he keep it on the bottom? That's the question.
He did the same thing in turn 2.
And Fillmore was ready again to answer the call.
So now Larry, as he left it too late right now, he's got a bit of a gap to make up as they come to the corkscrew. He really lost a lot of time as they come up over the hill. You can see him diving down the inside, trying to leave the braking as late as he can, and he kind of killed his exit again, but the number 1, he's killed it all day.
Here he comes across the stripe with a big, beautiful victory wheel stand, and it will be a race win yet again here in 2013 for number 1, Josh Hayes. Josh Herron celebrating with a stand-up wheelie. He knows he's the 2013 national champion. How sweet it is.
There it is. Oh, the KTM's broke.
EBR's in the top.
Impossible. Impossible. The KTM is not going to make it to the finish line.
Oh, wow.
And that's a heartbreaker for the team and primarily for Chris Fillmore. He's helping the bike along, limping, trying to get it home.
Wow, that's unbelievable. He's not giving it up, though. He's going to get across that line.
The crowd here on the front stretch giving him all the encouragement in the world. He's running with the bike, pushing it across the stripe, and Chris Fillmore will cross the stripe.
Wow.
Come back outside.
Oh, my gosh. Chris Fillmore, what an effort. He'll be credited with 7th place here this afternoon in what was a great ride all race long.
That's devastating for that KTM team. I mean, he rode so well. But, you know, that's racing sometimes, and Larry Pegram finally gets on the podium. Good for Larry.
Josh Herron captures his first national championship in Superbike.
You can see the champ waiting on him to congratulate his teammate. Fillmore's walking away with his head down. He's got to be proud of the way he rode that KTM today, though. And in the last corner is where the bike let him down, coming off that last corner right in the apex. You can see it just quit running.
It just quit running. What a heartbreaker. Pegram will end his season on a high note. He'd rather not get it that way, though, I'm certain. Nobody wants to take a spot like that. Not after a good, clean, race-long battle with a good competitor.
But he needed that. You know, he needed that podium to finish this year off strong. And same for Chris, but there's only one spot in that 3rd place to stand on.
Well, I need to make that long trek down to victory podium. We've got a National Guard celebration coming up. But many thanks to Christy Lee for her work here this weekend and all season long. Thank you, Christy. I know wherever you are, hopefully you can hear me. We appreciate you. And Scott Russell, a dream come true for me to have a chance to work with you. It's been so much fun.
Thanks, Barry. I've enjoyed my time up here with everybody on the live stream, and thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Wishing you best of luck in the off season and especially in 2014 with CBS Sports Network.
We'll be back. We'll see you then.